Good morning and welcome to the Fuck Around and Find Out podcast. Today is Monday, which means that we're interviewing and talking to neat, interesting people from all around the community. Today we have Stone and DontKillCarrots.
What up, guys?
How you guys doing?
Yo, hey.
What?
Gotta love
Chilling,
that
dude.
fucking enthusiasm. That's the kind of shit that we pay for around here. You can't buy that kind of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm all
I mean, shit. Thanks for having us, dude. Like, it's super cool.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all coming.
Remember, we don't pay you to come. We pay you to leave.
Yeah. It's the same way that you treat hookers is you don't pay them to have sex with you, you pay them to leave afterwards.
That's right.
No, but we always appreciate you let us come.
That's what my dad told me.
Yes.
Dad's a wise man.
Wise man he was. Wise man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys got going on? Anything cool? Anything fantastic? Glorious?
Well, I've been working on this steel mag grow along. It's all right. Seems pretty cool.
Nice. How long you guys been growing for?
Carrot says the time.
No,
more of
not
a
like-
recent one.
Okay. I was like, not the number of hours.
Bro.
Like 3,422 hours and 19 minutes. Well, how about we start with what do you guys use? The bags, totes, shoe boxes?
I call them like little mini monotubs. I use a Sterilite 27 quart, 26 liter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are my perfect upside down, perfect hybrid totes.
Yep.
Right. I mean, they're tall. They're like, decent like monotub height. But like, yeah. Small little monotubs. I like them. They're nice for my space and whatever. They fit good. They stack up. So.
Yeah, I got 5 going at the same time. I got five in a stack. They work perfect.
Yeah. Definitely. I do about the same.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with the bags and doing some like 1 gallon water jugs since I got through so many of them. I had a bunch of empties lying around and been having great success with just straight Ziploc bags.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty
The prison style.
Pretty much.
This
It's cheap.
Ziploc bag. It works,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I use oh my god, sorry. I when I run out of tubs, I just use random containers from around my house. It works out well most of the time.
Oh, as long as your grain's good and your CBG's been at least pasteurized, if not sterilized, you shouldn't have an issue if it's closed up.
Dude, I've seen people grow some shit and weird stuff. CBG is the core vermiculite,
Gypsum.
I know. I was trying to be funny.
Wow.
Oh.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
I was taken back.
We're used to lots of questions. So we're just automatically fucking answer everything.
No, true. No, I totally get it. I definitely had my a while answering questions. I mean, I still answer questions if they're easy to answer, but or like simple to answer. Like I don't have to type a lot. That's my ideal question, to be honest.
Right. I'd say my favorite random container grow that I've seen on the internet has been stuffed animals, where people where they take all the stuffing out of the stuffed animals and then like shove it full of fucking shit and then like grow in the stuffed animals. The mushrooms just grow through the fur, like all out. It's like fucking wild and mutant.
Dude,
Yeah.
I should have posted a brilliant idea. We should have a contest. We all start at the same fucking time, except it's a grow of fucking It'll be the curiosity grow or something. Fucking, we all have to find something stupid to grow something in, and we take.
Awesome.
I think everybody we gotta level the playing field a little bit. Maybe we just have like everybody gets the same stuffed rabbit or something like that, you know, and we just use that or like the same container.
Right.
Because
Novelty.
Well,
Yeah,
that'll
like
be novel. Yeah, but then everything's gonna be the same.
no,
I mean,
you know how
it's
much
just-
of a fucking nightmare it is to watch like mushrooms grow out of a doll head? It's fucking great.
yeah, but if everyone has the same doll,
Yeah.
I want something freaky and disgusting. I want some fucking edible panties wrapped around a fucking diaper. I wanted something cool, something that fucking hurts my eyes when I look at it.
I've been looking at all those guys growing in like cheese and noodles and thinking about like
Ew.
just grabbing some random item from the grocery
Well,
store
I-
and chocolate.
Yeah, I saw somebody growing on noodles. So what was that? Was that 90 seconds maybe? I don't remember. It was a while back.
Well, I
They're
mean,
trying to grow
noodles would
noodles.
work. It's just like a lot of carbohydrates. So, I mean, it would work.
Yeah, I think I was looking at some Reddit posts, so it might have just been some random heads on there.
Nice. I'll come up with something cool.
What? No, it's back over there.
There's definitely a lot of ways to go about it that we could do something fun like that. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna make a fucking like a dead. What do you call those things? Where you grow the grass on the fucking head of a fucking statue.
A
with
chia
little
pet.
things.
Chia pet.
Chia pet. I'm gonna grow a chia Deadpool.
Dude, we should do that with Furbies. We should get a Furby and like, you know, just like dollars, like the ones that are broken and donated to like Goodwill. We should get some jacked up Furbies and grow out of those because you know how nightmarish that would be.
That would be awesome. I'm in.
Furbies, I'm down.
Okay.
So I did
Yeah.
have a few questions. We were coming upon
Okay.
the season for the plants and outdoor, and I got some tomatoes, sweet pepper, and hot pepper.
All right,
Hello.
let's do this.
Kind of wondering how to go about like getting a bed for all of these going together because I'm not a soil expert. So
Okay, so are you doing with brand new soil or are you're going to go in the ground, right? So is it
Yeah.
like a new place that you've never grown before?
yeah, the area that I'm going to use is definitely just grass.
Okay, cool. Don't get rid of the grass. Wait, where are you at? Are you in a hot place or a cold place?
I'm on the coast, so cool.
Okay. Well, down here, I'll tell you how I do it down here when I'm doing it. Like if I'm doing like guerrilla garden, if I'm renting a place, or I don't want to build a big ass garden bed and piss off a landlord or something like that, or if it just happens to be like we get pretty damn hot here, in Texas. So what we don't have a problem with not enough sun. We have a problem with too much sun. So what I do is I go and I mow the lawn down like pretty low. And then I just use postal diggers and dig holes that are like, maybe 18 inches deep. And then I throw like a dead fish and a handful of like rabbit food in the bottom of the hole. And then I just plant the plant on top of it in the grass. It does fine. Like absolutely perfectly fine. Not a problem. Yeah, not a problem at all. The grass keeps it cool. It also keeps like beneficial insects around. So you don't end up with like a massive aphid problem or anything like that. And it keeps like water retention and everything else going on and acts like a living mulch. So everybody's always like, oh, they're going to compete for stuff. Not really. They perform a mycelial relationship and everybody gets along pretty well. They don't do well with squash. Squash and grass tend to compete, but like your solanaceae, your hot peppers, your tomatoes, things like that, get along fine with grass. They love it. They get along great with it.
They're good to know.
So you can make a real...
Okay, so you don't recommend like a raised bed, just
Oh, you could do that if you want to get super fancy, but I don't. Like, is everybody like, because you can minimize this window, right? And you can go back to the chat. If you go to the FAFO General, I'll show you what I mean. I have pictures, and I didn't do anything. I just left the water going for the just like the regular sprinklers, so it just waters whenever it waters the grass, and it's just absolutely no input or screwing around with it at all. I'll drop a picture with a couple of pictures of like 6 foot tall freaking tomato plants, and I didn't do anything special to them.
Oh,
They're just literally. I like fishing, and so I just catch like random fishes and shit.
Nice.
And just whatever random shit and pop it in the ground. Like here's.
Oh yeah, that's a Native American tech. The fish in the hole. That's where I heard about it. How I've heard about that.
So there's that's tiniest when she was super super tiny before she could walk. But there's literally just peppers like in the grass, That's all it is. I just pop a hole, and I don't know if I have a picture of the holes. Yeah, no, I didn't take any pictures when I was digging the holes. But it's just a postal digger. Just pop a couple holes in the ground and drop your plant in, and that's it. Like that is it. But you can see that it's just in the grass. And you know what I did when I moved out is I just pulled the stakes up. I just ran everything over the lawnmower. And you couldn't even tell that I was gardening or farming there at all.
Nice. Security deposit, please.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't make a big bed I had to do anything with. Didn't screw up anything at all. Didn't hit the sprinklers. Nothing like that, man. Like, when the lawn sprinklers would go off is the only time anything would get watered. And then you can see over on the far right, I had stuff in like buckets. But that was like eggplants and shit like that doesn't do well in the grass. But everything else does just absolutely fantastic in the grass. Because you have huge ash tomato leaves like the size of my hand.
And then how would I go about amending that?
I wouldn't. Like I said, when you drop a fish or like some rabbit food in the bottom of the hole, that's pretty much all it's going to need. If you do want to fertilize it, you can just fertilize it with the regular stuff you fertilize your grass with. If you see that, I put the spaces far enough apart, left to right and front to back, so I could run the lawnmower between them and between the rows, right? Like in a grid pattern.
Yeah.
So I would just fertilize the grass like I'd fertilize the grass, and then like iron, like regular 10-10-10 fertilizer, stuff like that. And that's it. I mean, not just mow the grass like I mow the grass.
What about the egg? What about you ever do the egg thing?
I've put eggshells in the bottom, but if you're gonna put like we call them perch in Texas, right. But what they are is they're just sunfish. It's like generic, random, shitty little palm-sized sunfish, right?
Yeah, sunfish, crappies. I gotcha.
Yeah, just any sort of little random palm-sized sunfish or small catfish is perfect for this. You can go catch them at pretty much any stream or pond or anything like that and just drop them whole in the hole. They've got all the bones, which bones have tons of calcium. They got all the guts, and they got all the meat and everything, and meat has lots and lots of nitrogen. It breaks down almost directly into nitrogen. Right. So that's it. That's it. It's 100% fertilizer. That's all you freaking need for an entire season, and you're done. If you wanted to get really fancy and do it above ground, like pots or a hydroponic system like we've talked about, you can. But this is just if you just want to grow a shitload of peppers and a shitload of tomatoes super fast in the ground with the minimal amount of effort, this is literally it. It's poke a hole, drop some dead shit in it, and underneath that plant, actually, the tiniest is sitting next to is a squirrel. So you don't have to have like fish. You can just shoot the neighbor squirrels and drop them in the hole. And then,
basically, we're just looking for bodies. What you're saying?
Yeah, bodies. Like a homeless person's hand, a diabetic foot, anything like that will work great.
It falls off. It fits. If it fits, it's great. That's got it.
Yeah. If it fits in the hole.
About that, I do have like whole ass trout. Is that way too much for a singular tomato?
No, not at all.
Cut
but
that
if you've got like a pretty decent sized trout, you're not gonna want to put it directly in the fucking hole. You can put it to the side, like maybe 3 or 4 inches. Or if you're gonna put it in the hole, put it in the hole make the hole like 20 inches deep, and then that like put your kind of bend the freaking trout kind of in a U and put it down the bottom. Then throw a handful of dirt on top of it. Then put your plant on top. But I like to put my plants deep. So if I'm doing an 18-inch, I like long, leggy tomatoes. So when I go buy them from the store, I want long ones because all the little hairs on the plant turn into roots. So I like to strip off all the leaves and everything. So I have this long like stem and only like the top like 2 inches above soil. So I drop that whole freaking long ass thing down in that hole and then cover it up. And so I've already got a really deep root system, and then the little roots go bam, and then they hit the fish and it just goes apeshit. And you don't have to do anything else to it the rest of the season. No fertilization, just water, and you're done. Man, I wish I had some pictures of the. I wish I had some pictures of the squirrels in the holes. They always piss people off. It always pissed people off when I posted the pictures of it, right? Because they were like, "Is that a squirrel?" And I'm like, "Yes."
It just fell. It just fell into the hole. It was weird.
Yeah, dude, those things. Yeah, dude, those things fall out of trees all the time, dude. I don't know what they're doing half the time.
Yeah, this is at the end. I just sent another picture. It's the end of the season. It was like, late fall. Everything's kind of scraggly looking, but you can see that they're still just loaded down with tomatoes. And that plant there,
sprinkler line, or just a hose?
That's just a hose because it was at the end of the season. I was done I turned the sprinkler off for the year, and so I was just watering by hand. But you could see that big bushy one on the left has a squirrel under it. The squirrels work real well. They're very nitrogen rich. Oh man, my wife was so mad at me too because I wanted to put more and more plants. Like this is only one corner of the yard. I did the whole freaking backyard in tomatoes, and so I started like putting like a little like paper plates with like corn and shit on them out there, and then sitting in the freaking window and like just drinking beer and waiting for the fucking squirrels to show up. So that I could tag them with a BB gun because
what about
I wasn't
birds?
getting enough squirrels. Birds are
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, birds. Hey, there you go.
Yeah. Pigeons will work great, man.
Because they annoy the fuck out of me.
Yeah, just don't put like, just don't like burrowing owls. Just avoid endangered species.
Pretty much. I don't know. I think any common vermin will work.
Yeah.
Mice for mouse traps. Perfect.
Yeah. You'd need probably like 6 or 8 mice if you're gonna do like mouse traps. You need quite a few of them. But
you need quite a few pinkies.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or
just have a pet rat for about fucking 2 weeks and you'll be set for a fucking farm.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I started doing this with the tomatoes because we'll go out and shoot feral. Jesus, son, breathe. But we'd go out and shoot feral hogs, like a bunch of them, and then take the backhoe and dig a slit trench. It's like 3 feet deep, and then just with the loader on the tractor, just dump feral hogs in this trench, like mass grave style. Like we're trying to bury Jews, and and then we'd go back there, and then about every. Yeah, I'm gonna get some hate mail for that one. And then
I've already gotten it.
Who already told you to fuck off? Nobody's listening to us live right now.
No, not about this, about other bullshit. Screw them.
What people call me racist? Do they know I've got a Mexican? I own one. Well, I mean, sorry. I have a... My wife's Mexican.
If people think we're racist, they don't know us. They just heard us.
They don't know us at all.
They don't know us then.
Yeah. I'm a half breed. I got a Mexican wife. My kid's a half breed. Like, I mean, I'm an equal opportunity.
I hate everybody, so whatever.
Yeah, I really hate everybody. You should hear me rag on freaking white people. Shit.
Fuck
okay, anyway. God damn. Trailer park bitches. So I dig these slit trenches, and about every 16 feet or so, I'd plant like a tree, an apple tree or like a pecan tree or something like that to bring more wildlife in, right? And that's it. Like, that's all the feeding or care those trees ever got in their freaking life. And they were just, we did it on the ranch, and we're not planting like special apple trees, right? I would just buy like organic like apples and then just plant the seeds, but I'd plant them in PVC tubes. So I'd take like, a 4-inch PVC tube. It's like 3 feet long. There you go. Hit that there. Now you can. So I'd take these PVC tubes, I'd stand them all up in a little bitty rack, and it looks like a test tube rack kind of, and put the apple seed in the top so it had a long root system,
All right.
when it got, and then I could just take the little, I just lightly put the cap on the bottom, but I could just push it out with the broom handle, like from the top down, because it never seemed to want to come out from the bottom up. But I just push it out. I just get it real wet, push it out with the broom handle, then drop that like basically apple spear in the ground, and just right on top of all the dead animals. And it's not gonna make like your Macintosh apple or some Cosmic Crisp or anything. It's gonna make an apple, but it's not gonna be the same as you buy from the store. It might be a little bitty crab apple guy. It might be a big apple. It might be the best apple in the world. You never know. But it's going to make an apple, and it's free. And it's great for the wildlife. Like, apple trees get huge, like oak size.
Don't get Farrell started on apple porn, on tree porn.
Yeah. Jeez.
Speaking of apples, actually, we got some wild apples that grow out here. I'm on the Oregon coast. So
What do you know about
that
cold
wild
kiwi?
crap, P&W shit, and I don't know what I can draft and take from the wild and put in my backyard. I was kind of asking.
Yeah, you can totally do
how I
that.
would go about that.
Okay, so let's talk about stealing apples first. So there's 3 different ways to do this. There's one is right as they start leafing out, like when they form little buds, you want to take cuttings from the new growth, and then you could actually just clone that. So have you ever seen a hydrocloner with it sprays like mist on the bottom?
Yeah.
Like everybody's seen the water cloner, right? Because everybody here probably grows weed. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, aeroponics, like aeroponic cloner. So dip it in your hydrogel, like root cloner, and then you put it down your little air cloner, and you're going to clone that, right? But at that point, it's going to be on its own rootstock. It's going to take a while, too. You want about a 4-inch piece if you're going to do that. So that's method number 1. Method number 2 is to literally just get some rootstock. You can do that any way you want. You can also take and clone it off of another apple, right? By just buying a shitty apple from Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And then you're going to go, and once that wood starts making buds, like it's going to put leaves out, you clip it off. You're going to want to keep it from getting dried out on the end. So I usually just take a jar of water or like a baggie full of wet paper towels, and then wrap up my cut pieces with that. Then you'll notch your sky. That's your little Scion guy, right? Like your little clone piece you got. You only need about like a 2-inch piece or a 1-inch or 2-inch piece of that. And then you're going to go to your mother wood, your new mother, and you're going to go to an area where it's got starting new growth on a branch that's starting new growth right before the new growth starts. So if you go to the end of the branch and you've got some new growth coming off, you want to back up about 2 inches, scrape away the bark a little bit, notch it out, and stick your stick in there, and then tape that bitch up. Well, you can use electrical tape. You can use grafting tape, which is real fancy, or any other stuff, and it'll grow.
Saran wrap.
Saran wrap's really easy. And then there's method number 3, which is air layering, where what you're going to do is you're going to go into this plant. You're going to take a real sharp knife. You're going to very, very carefully scrape the top layer of bark off to where you get to that yellow kind of shiny looking bark. And you're just going to take your knife and make one tiny little cut in it. Like you're trying to slit it open right? Just one little nick. And then you're going to take a handful of dirt and saran wrap, just put it up there on the branch, and then wrap the shit out of it. And what it'll do is it'll end up growing roots down into that saran wrap. And you can look at the saran wrap every like once in a while. Like I wouldn't even look for like 6 weeks. And then once you look down in there and it's full of roots, you can just cut it off with the mom, and now you have a little tree. Does that make sense? That's called air layering, and that's how you like the fastest way to do figs.
You're basically collaring a fucking plant, right? You're talking about when you put it all the way around. You're cutting.
No, you only want to do it. You don't want to do the whole. You don't want to do it all the way around. You don't want to collar it. You just want to scrape off like the underside of the branch, just the top layer of the bark, so that you get to like the growing part, right, which is kind of a yellowy, silvery kind color. And then I make one small cut. I don't go the circumference of the branch. I literally just go down the branch, and it's a cut that's like maybe 1/4 of an inch long. And all it's to do is just to allow the healing of the tree to touch the dirt. And then all it goes, oh, okay, now I'm going to freaking throw some roots down because we're touching the ground. And that's it. It works really, really fast and easy. But it's good. Once again, it's going to be on its own rootstock. So if you live in an area that has like crazy nematodes, you need a nematode resistant wood, then you're not going to be in the best place for using its own rootstock. It'd probably be best to buy some, because apple rootstock is cheap. We're talking, it's just scraggly ass apples that they have hybridized to the point where it doesn't really make a fucking apple that's edible, but it makes roots and it has really desirable characteristics like disease resistance, nematode resistant, root rot resistant, blah, blah, blah. And then they just chop the tops off of them, wrap them in newspaper, and send them to you. And you just put whatever you want on top of it. So it's just like sending you a dead body and you're supplying the head. Nice. Yeah, it's really freaking easy, man. People overcomplicate it. It sounds. I'm making it sound more complicated than it is, but if you actually watch it happen, you get people who can do 1,000 grafts an hour. So because it's so fast and easy, it's just like slit, cut, jab, tape up, go. Slit, cut, jab, tape up, go.
Sounds like making clones off a fucking pot plant.
That's where it started with trees, and people made it work with pot. So it's exactly the fucking same process.
Yeah, I can do about fucking 20 of those things in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so is this pretty much what you see when you go to the grocery store or say Home Depot and you find the vine plants like grapes and berries and stuff like that? They're in those little bags. They basically have the grafting all day.
So they. Okay. Are they? They're selling them in bags already. So if they're selling them in like bags or pots, what they do is they're growing them in the ground. They didn't grow them in that pot or that bag. Or like when you buy rose bushes and they come in a little plastic baggie, they didn't grow them in that bag. What they do is they use a power washer. They grow them in sandy, loose soil in huge rows. And they go in there with a power washer and they just wash away the roots. And then they have they just go in there and just cut them and then throw them into a bag and throw a handful of potting soil on top of them. They're basically, that's pretty much how it works.
Oh,
it's, it's really, really freaking easy. Yeah. It's pretty easy. You could buy bare root apple trees, like really nice apple trees, like Wolf River or Black Arkansas and all these other good ones, for cheap, like $7 or $8. Or you can buy them in a 2-gallon pot for $40, $50, $60. And they come from the same fucking way. They grew them in the ground. They power wash the dirt off of them. They chop the roots off. One, they just put them into a pot and threw a couple of handfuls of dirt on top of them and ship it to you. And you're paying for all the extra weight of the dirt in the pot. And the other one, they just leave the roots bare, wrap them up in wet newspaper, and ship it to you in a freaking cardboard box. And then you just take it out of the box, carefully take off the wet cardboard, and then drop it in the ground and put some dirt on top of it. So One, you're LARPing that it grew in a pot. The other one, it just you know it didn't grow in the pot, and you just put it in the ground.
Definitely.
And then I think Deadpool asked about the cold hardy kiwi.
Yes.
Okay, these guys are fucking great. So there's as far as I understand, two varieties. You have what's called an Arctic kiwi, and then you have what's called a kiwi berry, right?
Okay.
So the Arctic kiwi is if you go to the grocery store and you find those not so furry kiwis, they're just green and they're about half the size of the big furry kiwis, but they don't have so much fur on them.
Right.
You know what I'm talking? Yeah, that's all that is. It's an Arctic kiwi.
Yeah, I used to eat those when I was a kid, not knowing what the fuck they were.
Yeah, so they're great. They'll take down to like negative 20 degrees. So if you get super, super cold up there in the Arctic where you're fighting polar bears and penguins and shit, like what Deadpool does on the daily, what he's going to want to do is he's going to want to just throw like a hay bale over the top of the root during the winter. Just throw a hay bale, just break up a hay bale over the top of the roots and call it a day. Just to give it so the frost and everything just doesn't sit on there all winter long. But it's going to wake back up and go to town. Anywhere else in the United States, like say Mason-Dixon line and below, it'll grow year round. So it's not a big deal. Now that's those. Now you need to have they actually have sexes.
Yeah, so you have to have more than one different plant to get fruit. Yeah.
Well, they're very easy to sex by the time they're about 6 inches tall. So because of the pattern of the leaves. So you're going to end up, you'll have, you need one male to every 5 to 10 females, just like an apocalyptic bunker. And so, you're going to do one male to every five or so females. The males do also produce fruit, but not as much as the females. So it's not like a total loss of just planting the one male. But they do great, man. They really, really do produce a lot.
Are we talking about the same ones where they're vines? They will like go up and make trellises and everything else?
Yes, they're very, very large vines. Now, what my favorite thing to do with them is to grow them on I'm going to try to describe it, but I'm going to do a bad job. I use like an umbrella shape. But what I do is I just I make a cross, and then I put a beam on top of that going the opposite direction. So it's like an X in the air, right? Does that make sense?
Like for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I make like basically an X in the air. And then every time the vine starts growing off, I just send it down another side. And so what happens is the vine grows up and down and back and forth. And you can walk under it, and it becomes, after about 2 years, like a fucking tree. Like the vine itself, the base of the vine will get like the size of a 2-liter Coke bottle, and then it'll just turn into this giant tree on top. And it makes picking the fruit super easy because you can just walk underneath it and just pick all the fruit you want. You don't have to worry about trying to climb through some crazy vine or lifting it off the side of the fence, because it's a sweet smelling vine, and fucking wasps like it. They do. They really do like it. So it has got pretty good sized wasp hiding leaves. I'd prefer to walk underneath it and be able to look and go, ha, there's a wasp nest, than to lift it up off the fence to look for the kiwis and get my face full of wasps. Right? So, or you could take a cattle panel. Everybody knows what a cattle panel is, right? Like it's like a 16-foot piece of fence. You can buy it like Home Depot and stuff. It's like 4 feet tall. You know, they use it.
The rolls?
Yeah. No, it's not. It doesn't come in a roll. It comes in just a long 16-foot piece.
Okay.
They used to be cheap. They used to be under $20. I don't know what they're going for now. Probably 30. But and it's only about a 3 foot tall, 4 foot tall, and they're just designed to keep cows in. You put a couple of T-posts next to it. It's like instant fence shit. You can buy them pretty much any outdoors place or Home Depot. Well, a lot of people do.
My next question, actually, anyways, was going to ask you to deter deer and elk and all these like small critters. Should I just go buy those?
We'll get to that. elk are a lot fucking harder to deter than deer are. So,
Elk
but
don't give a fuck.
elk just don't give a shit, man. I've seen them walk through game fences. So, anyway, so I'll take the cattle panel and I'll bend it in a freaking U, right? So I'll put a stake about 8 foot apart because it's 16 foot. A stake about 8 foot, and then I'll just put it up against that stake, and then just hold the other end and walk towards it till it inverts into a U, and then stake it down the other side, and then grow your kiwis up over the top of that, and then you can just walk through it like a tunnel and pick your kiwis all you want. That thing also works good for like passion fruit vines, grapes, all sorts of different things. So that's Arctic kiwis. Now there's a kiwi berry, which is a South American berry. They also call them like, I think another name for them is mouse melon. They look like, they grow on a little vine that looks a lot like a miniature cucumber vine. And the vines only get about 4 or 5 feet, but it makes dozens and dozens and dozens of tiny kiwi-looking fruit, like about the size of a grape, that taste vaguely like a lemony kiwi.
Vaguely.
Yeah, they're more cute. They're really great in salads, but or pickled. They're pretty fucking cool pickled because it's like you don't know what to expect. Yeah, then it just like pops and it's like, oh shit, that's kind of like a dilly lemony freaking kiwi pickle. It's pretty cool.
That sounds interesting. I'll have to try that.
They grow like wild. They're very, very easy to cultivate. So much so that you could, they're small too. So if you have them in the grass and you miss a couple of them, they're going to grow up again in the grass next year.
Nice.
So, and then we were talking about, what was the next?
The deer?
Oh, fuck deer, yeah. So, now, Sepp Holzer is a guy who's big into permaculture, right? And he's an old German guy. And what he'd do is he'd make something he'd call bone broth or bone sauce. Bone sauce is what he'd call it. So he'd take a Dutch oven, pile it full of freaking animal bones, put the lid on it, and then bury the whole fucking thing in like ashes, or like just cook the fucking thing for like build a fire on top of it. And he's basically autolyzing everything inside of it, and he's turning just cooking the shit out of it, and it leaves like this dark brown liquid in the bottom, and it basically is going to smell like something died in that area. And was because it doesn't smell bad when you take it out. It smells kind of actually like bone broth. But after it ferments, after you smear it on something and it gets little bacteria in it, it smells like death. like straight up dead roadkill. And it's sticky. It stays for a long time. So Sepp Holzer in Germany, he would keep the red deer, the stags and shit out of his property by putting that down. And he'd smear it on fence posts and things like that, and they'd stay away for a long time. Personally, here, I find that if I put dead animals underneath my tomato plants and shit, that they can also smell that, hey, something died here. And even though you can't smell it, they can smell a lot better than you can. And that usually keeps them away. The fact that I also like to drink and pee outside keeps them away. Like, because I just go and pee on shit. Like, I'm a man. I can pee wherever I want. It's America. Right? I go out and just pee on things. It makes me feel good. I let the dog out to pee on shit. That also helps. You can, paintball guns, it's a lot of fun. That works really, really well. Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. You tag them right in the freaking, you tag the little bastards right in the throat. So I like to, I got that white patch, like right on their chest. I like to try to paint the offenders like different colors. Like this one's like neon orange. And it's right in the spot where they can't lick it off either. So that they hate it, man. They know it's there because they can smell it and shit. They fucking hate it. But you're like, oh yeah, I know you, bitch. You were in my freaking yard last week. You're neon orange deer. But, yeah, now people that, your bitchy neighbors might complain about that, but it's a hell of a lot better than just like, gut shooting the fucking deer and having it run off like
No,
some of the
definitely.
freaking rednecks that do.
It's terrible.
But yeah, paintballing them, just being annoying as shit. And then, peeing around your property works really, really well. If you just don't feel like winging it out and peeing on your property, you can just pee in a jug and then dump it out around your property. That works really, really well. Those motion sensitive sprinklers I've seen, they only work maybe 3 or 4 times. And then they realize, holy shit, if I dance around over here, I get a free bath. And then that doesn't work anymore. Especially for elk who just don't care. They're like, oh, water. Yeah, dude, cool. Right? Like, to me, elk are kind of like big, dumb stoners in my head, like from California, because I've seen them do some stupid shit. Like, deer are a little bit more wary, but elk are like, I'm big, man. I got this. And so, like, I've seen them, like, walk right through game fences, especially when they're doing their migration thing. They just don't give a shit. They'll just walk through people's yards. They'll just walk through a picket fence. They don't care. They don't try to jump over it. They just fucking blow that thing over. They, like, hey, the hood of this little fucking car looks like a great place to take a nap. They just don't care. Elk don't give a shit. So, just making their lives miserable, and any way you can, and then that adding that smell conditioning to it too. Works real well. I have even taken we lived on an exotic animal ranch, so we didn't have elk so much as we had red deer and bearsinga and scimitar horned oryx and a shitload of different types of gazelle and a shitload of different types of deer to deal with, but not like elk, like not North American elk, but elk from pretty much everywhere else in the world. And I would take into the sprinkler system, and I would just dump a shitload of like pepper oil in that damn thing.
Whoa.
Yeah, just like I would go to like, nah, fuck them. I'd go to the Asian grocery store and then just get like, like the pepper, like that red pepper oil. And it's super strong and it's cheap, man. I think I was paying like $4 a quart for it. And then dump like the whole fucking quart in the damn thing and then turn the sprinklers on when they're all sitting in the grass eating my shit. And just nuke them all. And then they're like, holy shit, this place is dangerous. And they'd stay away from it. But yeah, all you got to do is make it a negative interaction. And you can do that any different way you want. Whether it's you run out there and scare them, you then immediately pee all over the area so that, it's like they associate the smell. Because they're going to run off about 20, 25 yards, usually downwind. And then try to figure out what it was that scared them, right? And so now they can smell, oh, wait, that's a human, that's pee, and they scared me, and then, okay, it works. And then that'll help you keep them down. That paintball gun is obviously the most fun way.
Yeah,
it is
definitely.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, don't shoot them anywhere that's going to hurt them, like in the eye or something like that, but like in the butt or, in the...
Just on the side even won't do much.
Oh,
just
no.
Straight on the side.
You're just trying to startle them, that's all.
Yeah, just leave their heads alone, man. Don't shoot them in the freaking eye or nose or anything. But it's kind of funny to see your multicolored random animals running around. It just lets them know, stay the fuck away. And that works out really, really well. I've tried a bunch of different ways with like electric fences, because electric fences are super easy to set up. But these stupid fucking deer they'll take a running start. They'll figure out how, like, oh wait, this is only like 2 feet apart. The wires are 2 feet apart. You figure, oh, a fucking wire's 2 feet apart. A human's not gonna make it through that damn thing, right? Without getting shocked. Fuck you. The deers take a running start and then just like go like Olympic swimmer. And they jump between the fucking wires, dude. It's wild as shit watching them. They just like go straight. They just like kick their legs and their back legs straight while they're in the freaking air. And they put their little head down and just clip right between the wires. They're like little assholes. And then like the elk type animals, once again, they just don't give a shit. They just sit there and they just elect between each other. They're like, hey man, whose turn is it to take out the fins? Like,
So
hey,
I actually
Steve.
got to go out there and like do something.
Yeah.
I can't just
And
block
so
it out. I got to go go deal with them.
You can attempt the electric fence thing, but I'm telling you, man, you got to make that shit. Like, I would honestly probably electric fence and bob wire together. So I would do like 4 or 5 strands of bob wire, and then like 4 or 5 strands of electric fence in between the strands of bob wire. Will keep pretty much anything out once you get it over 8 feet tall. So like a strand of bob wire every 2 feet, 4 strands to 8 feet tall, and then in between it, strand. So like every foot has a strand of fence. But once again, bob wire is stupid cheap, really stupid cheap, and electric fence wire is ridiculously cheap. It is just, the wire is so fucking cheap. You can get enough to do. I think I spent $200 on enough to do 90 acres. So like it's so cheap.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't realize how cheap fencing was. I'm gonna have to go out and get that for the garden at least.
Yeah. So your barbed wire is going to be better to get at a like a hardware store, other than like, I wouldn't buy it at Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply kind of upcharges on their barbed wire.
I'm gonna avoid the barbed wire just because I got a dog and we live in like a neighborhood. I don't got like a big backyard, but like.
Oh.
Well, then you definitely can't put barbed wire up.
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't think we got HOA, but still, I think it's, not in city.
Yeah, if you live in the city to try to keep them away, honestly, I would just fucking at night with a flashlight tag things with the pellet, like the paintball gun. First off, it's fun, and never discount fun. So no.
So just really use the marker as a marker?
Yeah, dude, I totally would, man. Like, they're gonna really quickly associate that with bad times. So,
good to know.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, ow, yeah, fuck, and then they don't like the smell because it's basically like a soapy type liquid in most paintball guns. It's kind of thick, and they don't like it off of them. And then, it's propylene glycol, I think. So it's not gonna hurt them. It won't give them. Yeah, it won't hurt them at all. So
I did have one more animal to deter though. So
okay.
So I don't get like violent about it. How do I deter like the local feral cats?
Oh my god, dude.
Okay. Like, I am not a fan of cats.
You use them to fertilize your trees, obviously, dude.
Dude, they piss all over the garden and shit. They just kill everything.
I'm not a huge fan of cats. I've been not a huge fan of cats. I don't know how to not piss off the internet, but I'm not a huge fan of cats.
I'm not a huge fan of cats either.
Especially like, I like people. If you have a pet cat and your cat's cool, I'm fine with it. But when you got like 10,000 feral cats like running around, pissing everything, shitting everything, fucking everything up, that pisses me off. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. Is let your dog eat the cats. People don't like that. They throw a bitch fit about that. There's the shoot
away for now.
Yeah, there's a shoot, shovel, and shut up about the cats. That works pretty well. And then another way that works really well is that you've got to spray your yard every once in a while for bugs. And pyrethrum is an organic pesticide, but it's basically VX nerve gas for cats. Like, they can't even deal with a very tiny amount of pyrethrum. So, but it's it's the flea and tick dip for dogs, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, if you just wanted to put like a bottle of flea and tick dip into a like, say, one of those weed and feed type things, and then just water your plants with it, it's not going to hurt your plants, but it's going to kill all the bugs on your plants.
Saying that the pesticides that they spray around the perimeter of the house for bugs normally, like on a annual basis, that's good for the dog though. It's not a big deal.
Well, if it's pyrethrum. If it's something other than pyrethrum, then it's not good for the dog. But
Okay.
but pyrethrum not going to hurt you or the dog. You could practically fucking drink it. You'd
Yeah, I'll
have
have to
to.
write that down and just maybe.
Yeah. Pyrethrum. The other chemical name is permethrin. I'm sure that permethrin's been used as a treatment for clothing for people going overseas or going like to into jungles and shit like that. It's also the flea and tick killer stuff you spray on your clothes before you go into the woods. There's going to be the permethrin, and you can buy it anywhere. Like your Tractor Supply type store is going to have this stuff that's called Kennel Dip 2, and it comes in like a quart jar, and it's the most concentrated pyrethrum that I've been able to find that you can buy over the counter. What it's designed to do is you use like 1 ounce of it per bathtub of water to make a dip that you just dip your dog in, and it kills all the fleas and ticks and everything on your dog. And it's designed to be used, relatively often. But if you take that entire container and dump it into a pump sprayer and then spray your fence and shit, and the cat comes along and rubs up against it, the cat has seizures and dies.
Wow.
It's horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good cheer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can use one of those sprinklers that are on a timer because cats hate, like not on a timer, but on the motion sensitive ones.
No, it's okay. I've gotten to the point where I was about to set up like a snare trap, so I'm like,
Yeah,
anything's better than that.
yeah. Pyrethrum works really, 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 really well. So does man, because it's really hard to deter the stupid cats. Cats are too fucking smart. Like you can scare them off, and they'll just, all right, fine, bitch, I'll come back at 3 a.m.
Well, they retaliate. Like I've got one with the before, and I swear that one just came back more. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They got a personality. It's annoying.
Freaking assholes. That's what they are. Feral cats, not a big fan of them. They also carry feline leukemia, which is a sexually transmitted freaking cancer, which is, in my opinion, somebody's going to fuck a cat and it's going to jump like species, and then we're just all going to die. So.
I mean, seems as plausible as any. What was that, dude?
You want to talk about the steel mags that we were trying to bring up?
Oh no. I want to circle back to substrate. Right now, I started off using like just core, I guess, for my bulk technique, like
right
through like Munchausen, a trusted cultivator channel, and I guess I got a vermiculite, added that. I tried gypsum, didn't really notice much, so I dropped that out of it. Saw about your forest floor recipe, and I've been like slowly incorporating that into my substrate, using a little magnesium sulfate, peat moss and such.
Nice.
Yeah. Thinking about adding like maybe a little azomite, maybe some other stuff down the line. But right now, this is working really well.
Just fuck around, man. I mean, it's really the beauty of it is they'll grow on almost anything. So as long as you don't intentionally fuck it up somehow, you're gonna be fine. I mean, as long as you don't get your pH too far off in one direction or the other, then it's gonna grow on it. I mean, you could grow it on freaking wood chip, wood lover substrate, which I've done before to see if it worked. But you could grow on pretty much anything, man. It's really pretty easy. I just like to do nutritional substrate because I find that I get more flushes and bigger, more potent fruit. So, and it's really easy to do when you have a cement mixer. And when you have a cement mixer, everything looks like it needs a cement mixer. Mm-hmm. So, like you just have a cement mixer and you're like, what else can I make in there?
Making pancakes this morning.
Yeah. I need to make pancakes for an entire neighborhood. You know, like, yeah.
I did have a random question about the pH, though. Someone said that they noticed the same strain growing in a way lower pH environment, like around 5, and they said that for some reason the fruits grew huge, absolutely massive in comparison to their other flushes out of the other tubs. Same everything but the pH.
Interesting.
I know that you can basically push them in that direction, but you're saying they just first time in they were fucking ginormous. That was it.
Yeah, what I was told was they just messed up the pH on everything, and they tried not to, and then they tested the runoff, and it was really low.
The pH. I mean, why they? I don't know. I was wondering why they're testing the pH. What are they? What are they running?
I'm not sure. I forget what the whole like substrate recipe was, but he was adjusting the pH using something, and he forgot to put it in.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess it would be kind of depend on what strain you were using.
Yeah, strain dependent for sure.
I mean, because the Golden Teachers is kind of a baby little bastard and likes a pretty neutral pH. So, but like if you're doing like, there's some stuff that grows down along the coast in Texas, wild, that grows in some pretty damn acidic soil that has a high salt content, and it's fine. Like it doesn't give a shit. So it's going to be kind of strain dependent. Like your Florida stuff is going to have, like pretty acidic soil that's a little bit salty anyway.
Yeah,
so
like I was chalking it up mostly to genetics, so it's probably the right direction though.
Yeah, it's probably the right direction. Like I don't think you'd be able to take a Golden Teacher and drop it in a 5.0 substrate and expect it to do very well. But you could probably get away with like a wild type strain or just a one-off. Like, hey, for some reason this motherfucker likes that shit. Or it might be that he's got the runoff could be acidic, like the liquid coming out could be acidic because he's got a lot of peat moss in there, and peat moss when it contacts with liquid, it leaches out kind of acidic. So it could be that. And it could not be the actual substrate itself. In order to test the substrate, you'd need to take like a generic sample of the substrate and then put it into a known quantity of water. So like you do like an ounce of substrate and an ounce of water, and then shake that shit up and then squish it out, and then test the liquid there. That would work. So you'd be able to get like a 1-to-1 and then be able to calculate your pH. But as far as like just testing some runoff on the bottom, Mike piss is pretty acidic anyway because it's like an antibiotic, right? It wants to kill everything. So he might be getting a lot of Mike piss in that too. That's going to be showing off as being, his acidity.
Okay, that would make more sense then. Yeah, because it didn't make too much sense for just the pH to affect it that much. I was just curious as to what your opinion was on it. That makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I've never had to deal with it, so I'm not really quite sure. But
I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen experiments on that. I might have to try that, but honestly, I just think it has to do, like you said, with genetics, or something particularly could do well in that environment.
God damn it, I haven't ever given thought to fucking with pH much, and now y'all are making me think I should do like this one's 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and just do like a bunch of them with known like pH levels.
But that would suck because, like you said, you'd have to do that for absolutely everything you got because they'd all be individually particular to their environment.
Yeah, but I just do it once, like with Golden Teachers or just something generic that's strong grower that produces real easy. Like you could accidentally make a good flush of Golden Teachers. Like, it's stupid easy to grow. It's just the easiest to grow. I always see people, these newbies, who are all like, I'm going to grow for the first time and I'm going to do and name newest, craziest, freaking strain out there, and you're like, yeah, good luck, buddy. You're gonna go for like the mutant fucking Chihuahua that's on life support, and you're gonna try to make that work for you.
I get Enigma. I get Enigma a lot. I want to grow. I first grow. I want to grow Enigma.
Yeah.
Oh my
And you're
god.
Yeah, it's like comparing a mutant fucking Chihuahua on life support to a fucking golden retriever, right? The golden retriever, predictable. It's gonna fucking do. It's gonna do dog things. Mutant Chihuahua on life support. You got vet bills right off the bat, right? Yeah. So
Seriously. Oh
yeah.
man. Dude.
It's go with the good old tried and true, and for your first couple grows until you get that shit down. Do it easy.
Enigma's,
Easy.
I don't know. I just hate when they refer to it as Enigma. Enigma is a mutation, not a strainer. Like, jeez. That right there.
I have a buddy that's in that's overseas. I think it's in England right now. And shout out fucking a tiny ant. I think that's who it is. Who we were working together to try a tinny ant. When we were working together, because I have this idea of how to get like a finny type Enigma type mutation, a finned up mutation, how to get it to fruit. No autistic screeching child. And by using like different concentrations of magnesium and various other amino acids, because a lot of that mutation is in its inability, and it's missing the ability to naturally harvest magnesium and calcium easily from the substrate. So you can substitute in different concentrations of it and get different blobs and different, you can get it to kind of half-ass fruit. So we're just working on the right mixture of amino acids and stuff to try to get it to produce spores. And maybe we could work with it from there to make something truly interesting. So
I like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That sounds freaking cool.
Anybody can do it.
I got to do that.
Yeah, just speak up. You got to be a little scientific about it. Don't you? He's actually measuring stuff in concentrations, and not just like toddler handfuls. So, yeah.
What I saw earlier that I wanted to bring up was Yul Tripp's Orbeez method that you found the Orbeez were working, right? Were you the one that posted the article on Orbitech working with LC?
Yeah, I was. We've been fucking with Orbeez for a long time, like several years. Like I think the first time I fucked with Orbeez was 2016. Yeah, when they started making all those stupid Orbeez commercials on TV, and then I bought some because like we were all like everybody bought some. The weed community was the first bunch of people. They were like, hey, you can add this to your plants and it'll help with this, like with water retention. And I was like, fuck yeah. And so I was putting it in like pepper plants and like all sorts of stuff. And then I was like, I wonder if we could use this as a casing layer. And so I made it as a casing layer on top of, like just rehydrated it with sterile water and then made it a casing layer, like instead of pseudo casing with like, the koi or something. I just used the Orbeez and it worked. It was a bitch to clean up, but it worked. And so then I was like, we could do it with just straight LC, like concentrated liquid culture. Because how they fill up is there's a hydrogen bond, right? There's a little hydrogen gateway, and that's how it absorbs liquid into those things, is through the hydrogen pathway. So as long as you don't have a salt-heavy thing and you're not fucking up the hydrogen pathway, you should be able to get sugars and stuff inside of the Orbeez. I very quickly stopped buying Orbeez brand Orbeez and started buying like all the different knockoffs. And it's just water beads is what they're called. And yeah, so just making like honey didn't work so well. but regular dextrose, just like straight fucking actual like.
So you're making drippy Orbeez,
dextrose.
is what you're making.
Yeah, kind of. But I wanted to get all of that liquid, all of the L. I wanted to rehydrate it with LC, so liquid culture. And this is before I really.
I mean, you're adding the corn syrup to the fucking corn shit. So go ahead and do that drippy bullshit. But
well, it absorbed it all, and then like I posted pictures under the cultivation shit of different what it looks like. When me and what's his name were talking. Like, see, there's one that was me and fucking Mycocat. Just said like there's the one that was where it was the casing layer, and then there was one where it was just Orbeez and grains, so there was no substrate. It was literally just Orbeez and grain, and there was another one where it was just Orbeez with LC, and it colonized well. Like, it fucking colonized like a bitch. It's probably as close as you're gonna be able to get to hydroponic shrooms. Is it's just Orbeez and LC, just hydrated with LC. But you got to be careful. Like it won't absorb like magnesium. So if you're going to add your magnesium, you're going to have to add it. You have to just spray it on top. But it won't really do calcium. So you'd probably have to do like chicken grit or calcium substrate, like calcium or gypsum or azomite. Mix it in there with everything. The little Orbeez are tough. They're not like little water balloons. Like they're not going to pop. So you can really just mix the shit out of it. That's about it. It's pretty easy.
That.
Like
I found that really interesting that works out so well.
I keep kicking people who, like, I'll talk about something and then everybody will go out there and like act like they came up with it. And I'm like, you guys realize that most of the ideas are at least 10 to 15 years old. And I was like, Google it.
Everything's
Google
just been
first.
discovered by ourselves. We're just discovering it for ourselves. It's kind of interesting.
But if they Google it first, then they'll see you. Like, I'm not the first person that figured out fucking Orbeez. There was some dude on fucking Shroomery, like way back in the day, who had said, it was probably 2012 or 2014, who had said like, "Hey, Orbeez is kind of cool," and then everybody was like, "Fuck you, die, bitch," Typical.
I mean, I'm still not convinced, to be honest. I'm not going to go out and buy Orbeez, like, no matter what. Like, I don't give a...
They are 100.
I'm not putting hybrid Orbeez in my tub.
100% totally worth fucking with because it's hilarious and it's cool. But is it worth like doing every time? Hell no. They're a bitch to get rid of. What are you gonna do with? You can't bury the cake outside because the damn things last forever. You have to throw it away. Like
definitely.
They're not biodegradable. So it's like, what are you gonna fucking do with it? You're gonna, like, every time you go to mow your lawn, little freaking BB pellets are gonna fly everywhere, right? Like it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it cool for a one-off type thing? Very cool.
Yeah, I could see it.
But yeah, everybody kind of played with it for a while, and then they were like, "Oh, this is cool," and then it kind of died off, and then I was just like, Orbeez might work. Then Googled it, and I was like, holy shit, other people have done it. And so I just tried to take it to the next step. And I ended up liking the only ones I really like. I got these green pieces of shit in this picture, but they're like the goth ones, like the solid black Orbeez. Those are cool looking when they're like, when the mycelium like takes them over. It's really cool looking.
That sounds really cool.
They look like a little bunch of black eyeballs. It's pretty cool. But other than that, Orbeez is neat. It's worth adding to like plants if you're gonna go on vacation a lot, or you don't want to water that shit all the time. You have them growing in pots. You can add Orbeez to them.
Huh? That's good to know. I didn't even know about that, honestly. I thought they were like literally targeted for a kid's toy.
They originally were for gardening and like They originally, I believe, came apart for the flower business, for cut flowers and shit. And they were originally clear. And they called them water glass or glass water or some shit like that. And then somebody who was a genius decided to add dye to them and sell them to kids. And then YouTube bastards filled entire swimming pools full of them. And then, it became super cool after that for a while. And until everybody realized, what do you fucking do with them? They're hell to clean up. Like, it's much easier. Just use a shop vac. Don't even try to fucking sweep them because they're perfectly round. They just, touching them with the broom sends them across the room. So just use a shop vac. Just, if you drop a whole handful, move. You're never going to find them.
Move.
There was a dude who, on YouTube, who filled his entire town's plumbing system with orbeez.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They could trace that shit back, bro. Like, they're just going to follow the clogged pipes all the way to your house and then charge you $1 bazillion.
Yeah, it was like the northern European village, as I remember it. He was doing a YouTube video, and he filled up like his bathtub or something in his toilet with, his bathtub and stuff with dry like orbeez, and yeah, they started coming up out of the toilet in his neighbors' houses and so on and so forth.
I'm sorry for laughing because goddamn, that's fucking terrible.
It is, dude. I think it was like the single biggest like orbeez catastrophe.
Yeah, small European town. If the president kill him, like they just take him out in the street, flog him to death.
It's serious.
I would be like, if that shit happened to me, oh my god, I'd be so pissed. But,
I would not be against it if I lived in that town.
Oh no, I'd be like, fuck this asshole, let's kill him.
Oh,
but,
yeah, I forgot what happened to that dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, fuck that. That's so dick. Now I'm never gonna have orbeez in the house again because I could see my toddler like flushing a few handfuls of the freaking like dry ones, and then just having them fucking like just destroy the freaking septic system. Like, oh, God, it'd be fucking hell. Because they get huge. And now, have you seen these giant ones they have now that are like the size of a freaking baseball? They're a tiny little bead. They're little beads, like the head of a small nail, and they swell out the size of a freaking baseball. And you're like, God damn, man! Like if you could take like a cup of those, like a 1 cup measure's got to be 10,000 of those, and 10,000 baseballs will fuck up any plumbing system.
Yeah,
definitely. What are those sold as? Instant drain cloggers?
Now they're just like extra large orbeez, here to destroy everything you love.
Yeah, would that bust the PVC pipe open?
I don't know.
I think so. Who knows? Let's test it.
I bet you if you put like a cupful of them in like a piece of 2-inch PVC pipe and put the lid on the end and then added like, filled the pipe up full of water and popped the cap on the other end, you might get it to pop like the caps off or bust out the side.
Yeah, true.
God, that would suck so bad.
Orbeez, man. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be on the Orbeez subreddit anytime soon.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm never gonna play that shit again. I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, that should be kind of fun to do a novelty grow where you grow in like a water bottle and just have the mushrooms come out the top. But then I was like, I'm gonna get some Orbeez and
Sir Psycho has some awesome novelty grows on Reddit. I've talked to him a few times. He's had some, he fruited the cum rag and stuff. A few other things. Yeah, he fruited a cum rag. among other things.
Which one do you use on the squeaky grinder? Stop squeaky grinding.
Okay, sorry. Oops.
Everything comes across super squeaky. Lube like shit. Jesus.
Grinder grease.
Yeah.
With some coconut oil on that thing or something.
Jesus. Yeah. That'd be pretty intense. Screw this. I wonder if you could use
that wasn't a grinder. I was just polishing my jars.
You really need to do something with your fleshlight if it's making that noise, son.
A lot of friction.
Oh no, he knows.
It's like an android.
Do you know anything about cacti, Pharaoh?
No, I'm not. I don't know very much about cactuses. I know how to kill them really efficiently.
We got somebody coming on here the next couple weeks. Going to be
yeah, we're supposed to have a cactus like guy. I'm not in charge of like picking our hosts and stuff. I'm not people don't like me, so they have Deadpool's.
Oh, we like you, but
well, evidently I'm a racist asshole to everybody else. So.
Well, like you said, they just don't know you.
But no, I don't know anything about cactuses. I do know we just bought this ranch. We're fixing to move on to it, and it's got a lot of cactus on it. So I'm gonna murder the shit out of them. But they're just all prickly pear. Like I've never grown like what is it, trinoceros or whatever it is?
Yeah, trichoceros.
Trichoceros. Yeah, I've never grown a trinoceros or anything.
Yeah, a triceratops, dude. I got like 3 different kinds of triceratopses right now. I haven't germinated them yet, though. I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to it.
You didn't say triceratops, right? I'm not high.
But I haven't. I just never really understood the draw of peyote or any. I don't like things that make me feel like I want to die.
So the cool thing about them is most people will never partake. Almost everyone who owns one of these things will never actually like make mescaline, nor will they ever touch it. They just are. It's an ornamental plant for the most part. You know, people just like having that. It has that in it. You know, so
yeah,
it's
just
cool
like
part of the plant.
Anytime I don't want to take any sort of drugs that make me feel like death, right? So like I had a really good buddy, and I'm trying to talk him into coming on this freaking show, but he's really shy. I keep that. Shout out R. Anyway, he went on this crazy ayahuasca thing to like the rainforest. He went to Peru, and he was like, "Oh man, it was so great. It was there for like a week, and we did ayahuasca continuously, and I learned so much shit about myself." I was like, "But why ayahuasca? Isn't it just terrible?" He was like, "Yeah, well, you learn a lot of stuff while you're crawling to the toilet, you're shitting yourself and puking at the same time." I was like, I don't really feel like I would be learning much except how to be miserable. Like, can I just take some shrooms and watch Encanto and learn something from it?
It's a little intense,
yeah. Definitely. I've heard it's a real 50-50 on whether or not it's a good or bad trip. I've heard it's like the best thing like they've ever done, or I've heard like it was the worst thing. But personally,
from what
after
I've
putting
heard,
all that,
you can't use a center. You have to use just the skin when you make your shit that you're going to be doing. I guess
this is a professional place.
You up.
It's a professional place that makes all this shit. It's a vacation. They bring people in and they starve you and
yeah. I don't know. I think that's kind of overrated, that shamanism. I'm not really into that whole shaman aspect of it. I don't know. I guess it adds to like the ambiance and like the setting and all. It's a cool experience, but aside from that, I don't really see any additional benefits that you couldn't get from like doing it in a therapeutic setting.
See, I would like to do something cooler. I'd like to have like people, like vets. Like I'm a veteran, and it's helped me a lot. And I'd like to have other veterans come out, like to the ranch and have like a little cabin out there. And I don't, hey, let's do some shrooms and sit around the campfire and talk about your shit, dude. Like totally cool with that. But I don't see that to me is a good time. Put on some music and have a good time. Like sit around, talk bullshit around the campfire, just enjoy each other's fucking company. But taking something that's going to make me simultaneously puke and shit is like massive.
The shitning. It's the shitning, the sequel.
The shitting, the sequel.
Yeah, dude, I'm not up for that. I'm definitely not up for that. And like, especially after all the time and effort I put into like cultivating it over like a few years or whatever, I'm definitely not gonna chop it down for literally. Like it takes like what, a foot of that plant to like equal one dose. Like, it's, I don't know.
I've been trying.
It doesn't seem worth it to me.
I've been trying for a couple of years now just to get a really nice peyote plant so I can have it on my fucking workstation. Because I think it's gonna look awesome, And then, but then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great job." Like, why would you want to do that with a 30-year-old plant for fucking to go puke and fucking feel like shit? It's like,
yeah, no.
Must have been really fucking bored back in the day. Like, okay, think about it. Like, you're fucking, it's what is it? Like fucking 2 years after Jesus. Everybody's like, so what the fuck are we gonna do now? They're like, hey, why don't you eat this fucking plant? I mean, sure, it's gonna be miserable. You're gonna feel like you're gonna die, but hey, maybe you'll see something cool, but like, how fucked up? How did they even figure that shit out? Right? Like, because I know they used to probably pick the dumbest person in the freaking tribe to have them try new foods to see if it killed them. But like, hey, he tripped balls. Maybe we should try that. Here, Jimmy with a K, eat this and see.
Yeah, but when he starts to implode and fucking feel like he's about to die, what makes you? Who's the second person that does that? Is what I'm wondering.
The guys without TV or Xbox.
Yeah.
They don't have shit else to do, dude.
So yeah, probably couldn't
that's why
hang on
people
anything
used to
else,
have.
and he was like, "It's not that bad." So they had to try it themselves. There's no way it's that bad.
Never tried it.
Depending on who does it.
Well, I mean,
like
that
one friend who just can't. You're like, no, dude, you're just exaggerating. I'm gonna try it. I had a quick question. Sorry, I know I'm making noise.
Oh, no.
I'm grabbing my
go ahead.
stuff out.
Sorry, I was just. No. Go sit over there. Go sit over there.
So
I'll try to get my toddler away. Okay.
I don't really have alfalfa straw pellets, but we had wheat straw pellets. Would have benefit from
different
putting.
Things.
Yes, very different.
It's gonna help. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The mycelium loves to eat freaking wheat and loves to eat straw in general. But I just get like rabbit food pellets or like horse like alfalfa pellets. Either one of those will work. You don't have to have straw pellets. It's just literally rabbit food.
Alfalfa hay, and then I was going to ask if alfalfa hay would need to be sterilized, or if I could get away with pasteurizing that.
You can pasteurize it. Yeah. You can even just, if you wanted to cheat, just grab you a bit of that hay and make your alfalfa tea shit with it, like sterilize it, like pasteurize it with a whole bunch of hot water, and then just pour off like the liquid and the leaves and use that in your substrate instead of actually like the alfalfa itself. Because what you really just want is you just want the actual like extract from the alfalfa, because as it degrades, it releases tricantinol, which is a very strong growth hormone.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get the liquid off of it. So if I threw it into some boiling water, like
you could make alfalfa. Yeah, you could do that. I would just throw all that because the leaves and everything just like if you have a flake of alfalfa hay, like fuck, if you just touch it wrong, all the leaves fall off. So I would just use that shit in there and just toss the hay in like a bucket, throw in some boiling water, and then stir it around a little bit, and then just fish out all the freaking like actual just stems and everything, and leave all that hay in there, and then just rehydrate my substrate with the water.
Sick. And then for the wheat straw litter stuff, I bought it. Could I use that in my gourmets at least for my sawdust?
Oh yeah, you could use it. You could use it in your grow for your cubensis love straw. It eats the shit out of it too, so it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
So I could throw like a handful in or something just to throw it in there.
You could probably get away with up to 20% by weight.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
With your cubes, yeah.
They use that shit
really,
like slip and
well.
slides. They fucking move around.
Yeah, they
like
do.
Fucking
I use
crazy.
chopped straw a lot, like a lot of chopped straw. So we're not talking about like you've got pellets, so it's gonna just expand and turn all crumbly. But I use chopped straw that they buy. You buy it in bales from like any sort of animal place. I buy mine from Tractor Supply. It's for like lining like chicken nest boxes. It's like fluffed up chopped straw. I use that shit. I throw in fuck tons, like a lot into the cement mixer. I probably use about 10 to 15% of my nutritional substrate is straw, chopped up straw, because it uses it like Deadpool was saying, like a slip and slide. Man, it just like the hollow centers, it just hits that shit and just goes boom to another part of the substrate. So your substrate colonizes super, super fast. So instead of it just slowly like expanding out in concentric rings, it all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, it just jumped down that 3-inch piece of straw and is now colonizing over here. So yeah, use like chutes and ladders, like slip and slide, man, and it really does like it. It's got lignin and cellulose and everything in there that the mushrooms use to make their stipes and stems anyway. So they just break it right down and digest it real easily.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just thinking about, I love that you just throw so much crap in because they'll use a little bit of it, if anything,
Yeah, they'll eat
So-
a lot of things. But I like to add, what
They're okay,
happens
whatever
is-
the fuck's in his yard.
dude, I've made substrate out of just shit in my yard, literally, and I got so much hate for it. I just went out. And there was like behind the yard there, like in the alley, there was like some really tall grass. And I just went out with some scissors and cut and used that as the straw, and then like raked up a bunch of leaves and sticks and fuck who knows what else. And then I made a substrate out of that, and it worked great. Like it's fantastic. I
Whoa.
had some potting soil and a little bit of perlite, and it just it grew like crazy. And everybody's like, "Oh, you can't do that. That doesn't work that way." I don't know. Like, really? Because here's a step-by-step pictures. It worked great. But people they hate that you can do that because there's a sacred cow, and it's becoming almost a freaking religion that you have
Don't
to
even
grow
say it.
this way.
Don't even say it.
Yeah. You have to grow it this way, and it can only be grown this way, and everything has to be done this way. And then there's fucking CBG, which is like the sacred cow. And it's like, no, it'll grow on almost anything. You could probably grow it on literally just throw colonized grain in a fucking pumpkin shell and grow it in a freaking pumpkin, like carved pumpkin. Like, actually, that worked pretty well.
That's good. I was just thinking that's gonna be our Halloween grow right there.
That would work.
Hell yeah.
That would work.
Good for the pumpkin.
What's
Yeah,
your
no, the
novelty
whole
right
fucking
there?
thing. The whole damn thing. Just take the guts
Orbeez
out
in the
because they're
pumpkin.
pretty acidic, and then just dump a quart of freaking grain in there and put the top back on. You know?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then when I want it to come out, I'll just jab a steak knife through the outside. I wouldn't like carve a face or anything into it because too much air exchange. But I just stab a knife through it a couple places, and the mycelium will find the freaking holes and fruit outside the pumpkin.
Well, I'm totally like thinking of like a jack-o'-lantern with the top cut off with some brain coral growing out the top.
Shit, yeah, that'd work. It'd work.
That'd be neat. That's a neat novelty right there.
Yeah. Halloween grows.
That's a
coming.
good
It's
picture.
October.
That's totally happening.
Yeah, totally.
How would I go about I do have an amanita muscaria culture. How would you guys go about trying to do that? Because they grow right outside, so I could just put them outside if I wanted to.
Yeah, I would grow them around. I would grow them in the grass around it. Tree. That's. I'm not familiar with which types of trees they like to be around. We just gave for some stuff. So I'm not sure which type of trees. I'm not very familiar with them in the wild, but I think they like deciduous trees.
Yeah, they normally stay around deciduouses. I've seen them in pines before, but not as commonly.
I would probably just post-hole dig a couple of holes and dump some grain in there, like some colonized grain, and
Okay.
yeah, and then put the little cap of dirt. Like I just use the end of my post-hole diggers. So I take just a circle, so I could take like the cap of dirt off with the grass and everything. Dump my colonized grain in there, and then put the top back on and step it down, so you can keep the mice and shit from just digging down there and taking everything and stealing it from you.
I always wanted to grow one of those, only so I could have it in my house. Like make a fucking what do you call that shit with the plastic that fucking clears up. That you put in the
resin. Yeah,
resin.
the resin.
So you have a nice. I'm gonna make a collective series of all nothing but resin fucking mushrooms. You get your Yeti.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Right?
Nice.
That's
Will
a
it
great
store
idea.
permanently like that?
Wow.
Yeah, people put
Oh yeah, no oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be there permanently.
Oh
Yeah, not only
What?
no oxygen, but that resin permeates them and it'll stay there forever. And people
Yes, yeah,
put
that's
fucking
something
whole
I
hot
would do.
dogs and hamburgers and shit in the resin, and it doesn't ever rot. It doesn't go anywhere.
I
So
get
it
wild
would.
ones. I'd love to do that, like a little cluster or something that I find. In the
Yeah.
wild.
So it
That'd be
doesn't.
so
That
cool.
resin doesn't. It doesn't stick to. I do it with what's called boat coat. It's a type of resin that I use to make tables because I do like resin tables, and so boat coat doesn't stick to like melamine. So what a lot of people do when they want to make small cubes is they'll buy those like white melamine cheap cutting boards, and then just cut them and hot glue them together into a cube, and then they put whatever they want in the bottom, and it's usually a piece of like hot glue or something to hold it in the bottom, and then you can use a piece of fishing line, like the really really fine, like 2 or 3 pound test, and just kind of suspend it, and then fill it up with your resin. Now you do need to kind of like tap it quite a bit, or put your girlfriend's vibrator on it.
Like say
Yeah.
vibrator table on it.
Yeah, no, just put your girlfriend's helper on there, and or like one of those massages, like shoulder massages. You just want to vibrate it so that it gets all the air out. After that, you just leave it alone, man. In 24 hours, you can peel that melamine right off, and then polish it up, and
Polish it down to motherfucker.
Whoa!
Yep.
Hmm.
I gotta be doing this.
And you can reuse that cutting board infinitum. You can make a billion of them. But I think people would really enjoy that, having like a badass.
Farrell, I think we need to take this out of the podcast. Now people are gonna be selling my shit because I gave them my idea.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I know a guy. I know a guy who does that type of stuff. Don't we, Stoneman?
I know
Yeah.
people have been doing like necklaces and stuff like that. Yeah, but no,
Yeah, I make
you know 2 guys that are going to.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I make tables. I make like the river flow type tables and stuff like that. And then like I do ones where like was my favorite table I ever made. I wrote in like Elvish, so it was like it was for a friend, and so I put Elvish and I took a router and I routed it out, and I filled it with the glow in the dark powder, and I poured resin like kind of a cloudy resin over the top of it, and then put LED lights underneath it. So it would glow like at night, but then when he turned off the lights, it would just be like this black table with like the Elvish glowing. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
That sounds really trippy.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest one I ever did.
One table to serve them all. Yes.
Nah, it said something else, but it was. I can't be too specific, or people will be able to Google it. They know exactly. What it was. But it didn't say. It didn't have anything to do with Lord of the Rings. But the table's been around on the internet a lot, so it's pretty cool. And it was really just like a drunken idea. As it turns out, there's a Google Translate to go into Elvish, so you can put any fucking word you want in there. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a whole language. It's creepy.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend in high school.
Because,
She knew
dude.
the whole Elvish
Tolkien
language.
knew
It
his
was really
shit.
weird.
And they exist, dude. They're real.
I see it.
Elves?
Definitely.
I seen it, dude.
Was this before or after you consumed mushrooms?
Mushrooms?
Yeah.
Dude, how do you think we got the language, dude? That's where we learned the language from.
I can't argue
Yeah.
with that. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all.
God damn it! Now we're gonna have. There's gonna be like some new age hipster fucking wind talker goddamn shit going on. Whereas like the assholes up in Portland, like the assholes in fucking Chaz or whatever the fuck it is, are just gonna be talking in code and Elvish to each other. You know, the government's gonna have.
I'm
The
learning
government's- we
this
need a
starting
few-
tonight.
Yeah, the government's like putting up ads like, you know, we need a few good geeks. You know, now we have a whole fucking Elvish wind talker culture going on. And now you're gonna have James Cameron do the fucking movie. They got specific and played out exactly like a movie in my head. I even saw the trailer. Oh god, it was disturbing. The Elvish wind talkers.
So they just had that in the movie now where the guys whistle and shit down the canyon. Is that
Well,
what you're talking about?
No, Wind Talkers was the movie where they had the Navajo code talkers, right?
Oh, I know
Where
that.
they-
Okay, that's what that one is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Japanese could break and the Germans, everybody broke all sorts of different shit. This is before we broke their Enigma machine, and so they had.
Dude, they had the Enigma back then, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like that's like totally what happened. Yeah.
Oh my
It was a
God.
machine, and then they like crossbred it with a mushroom, and now it's
Wow.
it was like some sort of like Hitler alien like thing going on, and yeah,
Wow,
like one of
dude.
those
They
technology
could have
things,
died, dude.
right?
Well, man, I'm
And we
I'm
still
taken
grow
back
it to
right
this
now.
day.
Are you like insulting us, man?
No, just
I don't think it's funny.
just people in general.
From Portland.
from Portland. Why would anybody like? I'm sure there's probably still at least 4 sane people that live up there, but like, why would you if everybody's just trying to like? It's a fucking mess.
No
I see
same people live
pictures-
there. No same people move there. It's not like
Like
there's
I
the
see
outskirts
pictures and
of it,
videos.
but Portland's like
coming
2
from
hours.
there.
Like
Ugh.
Portland's like an hour. Like the vicinity of Portland, and drive from one end to the other is like an hour or two. So like a lot of people that are like not in Portland. That's kind of like where there's normal people, but like you get into Portland City, there's just not a single normal person. Portland's just It'll forever be that way. It's just,
Dude, I've just seen pictures, and it's like a third world fucking country, man. It's bad. Like,
no, there's
like
places, it's not that bad. It's just like LA, though. Like, you go down the wrong street.
It's just like LA, though.
Yeah, that's not a good comparison there.
It's not that bad. It's just like LA.
I have friends that work in EMS that are up in that area. We talk on the boards and shit, and they're like,
Oh, yeah,
dude,
no,
it's
that's not a good
like
job.
just straight fucking zombies everywhere. Since
Damn.
Oregon basically decriminalized everything, and
you probably have like a 10% chance to watch an OD if you're at a restaurant in public. So, like, it's
I'm
pretty
moving.
bad.
I'm moving.
You're at fucking Chuck E. Cheese, and your kids like the kids are so fucking used to it that you've got these kids who are just like standing around waiting for someone to fall out so they can steal their tickets.
Right? they're pulling bodies out of the fucking what do you call that big pen with the big balls, the jumping thing?
Yeah,
the
ball
bodies
pen.
the ball pen, yeah.
Burying
Someone's
my
gonna
ball.
go
Look
to
what
the
I
bathroom
found.
one more
Yeah.
time, and then we could take our tickets.
Yeah.
Whoa.
These are thoughts that keep me out of the good schools.
Oh shit, dude.
All right, everybody back?
Yeah. What
All right.
you do?
No, I just lost everybody for like 5-6 seconds.
Whoa.
Everybody lost you. We were all here. You were just lost.
Yeah. That. I knew it was one or the other.
Uh-oh.
This has been a fun one. You guys have been fun to talk to.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, we just lost him. We just lost
Oh,
him.
no.
Shit. Yeah,
Oh, no.
he'll come back. We got.
Yeah.
You gotta have the mic. Oh, okay. Well, you said you're not. So,
Yeah, I see a gray screen. So.
Well,
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, though.
No, dude, I'm here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so.
Any more
This,
questions? Anything to add? Any sort of bitches, grabs, complaints?
this was totally fun though. You know, try and have fun with it, of course.
No.
Stone looks like he dropped off. Can you hear us, Stone?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I was.
Oh, that's
thank
sweet.
you. Yeah.
So
No.
generally, when it comes to the end of this podcast, is that we usually try to go around the room and say something positive. Everybody try to say something positive, and we always start off with Deadpool because we like to throw him under the damn bus.
Oh, whatever. Just remember that every day it's a new chance for you to screw up again, and those who doubt your ability probably have a valid reason.
Yeah, that's fucking wholesome. That's wholesome right there.
All right.
That's
It's
wholesome.
very real.
All right, Stone, what do you got, buddy?
I don't know. If you can't find a way to be happy, you could always smoke weed every day.
There's some
It'll,
wisdom in that.
Change it. It'll just change your face to constantly smiling. You can't do anything about it.
Or be chronically depressed. There's that too. But
Still be
just
smiling.
not caring. Yeah, just not caring. Just depressed but not caring. Well, that's a good thing. That's some low hanging fruit to aim for.
Those are the best ones.
Blissfully depressed. There we go. All right, Carrots, what do you got, bud?
I'm feeling really positive about like water. Water's really cool. We need water to like live and stuff. Like if it wasn't for that, we'd be all like dead and shit. And mushrooms need water too, so you know, and plants.
You are high as fuck. You are
Also,
high
if you
Well,
haven't seen
water.
the Corn documentary, Corn.
Bro, dude, corn. Nah, dude, fuck corn, dude. Nah, dude.
The United States, you're a corn person. We are like 17% of our diet is corn or something. And it's just growing.
Bro, 17% of your diet is corn, dude.
It's like the national, like, it's just an average. I can imagine how bad it is now. We are cool.
Yeah, I know, dude. I learned that.
somebody
I
being
saw that
robbed?
documentary.
We are really corn and water.
Oh shit, dude. It's not my fault.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
Things got interesting there. Something coming from me is something positive. Let's see. Shit.
I like
You're
it.
never gonna. You're probably not gonna fuck up, no matter what you do. As bad as that one asshole flushed like a 5-gallon bucket of Orbeez, because that was a pretty big fuck up. Don't be the Orbeez flusher.
I'm gonna get him on. I'm gonna get him on the show next week.
Definitely. Anytime you feel bad about yourself, just think of that dude who flooded his town with Orbeez.
Yeah. You can always go up from there. If y'all, if y'all going through anything, you need to reach out to anybody, you need to talk to somebody, you can always join our Discord there and talk to us. Serious note, we do want to make sure that none of you that are depressed are alone. You can always hang out with us and be depressed with us.
Definitely.
We love our listeners. We enjoy having feedback from y'all. You can get a hold of us on our email. Send us hate mail. Tell me how stupid and racist I am. That would be FAFOCult@gmail.com. I will personally let you know that I am everything you hate. If you want any sort of cultivation, if you need any sort of cultivation supplies, some grain spawn, substrate, and the likes, you can get a hold of Deadpool through our Discord. He's the person who is making it for all of us at the moment. If you'd like to go ahead and send us any sort of monetary donation, we promise to use it for nothing good. It'll just go straight to any sort
Hookers
of
and blow.
Yeah, straight debauchery. And to keep this podcast going, you can do that at by Venmo at FAFOCult or CashApp with the $sign FAFOCult. We're constantly adding stuff to our Etsy, and it's got a lot of cool shit on it now. That is going to be FAFOCult.etsy.com. And the link to our Discord will be in the show notes, as well as all the other links and crap we've talked about today. Except for Orbeez, because we've decided that's a terrible idea, and we're not going to do that. Nobody needs to.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
We're all going to do it.
I wonder if some asshole's eaten Orbeez before. Somebody has to have eaten Orbeez. Like, just like a spoonful of Orbeez.
Oh. Challenge accepted.
Makes your rectum turn inside out.
Challenge unaccepted.
Machine gun poops. Whoa.
That's the jingle for the day.
Turn your rectum out.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys. It was wonderful having you all on. Thank you. We love our listeners. We're constantly getting new ones. Europe picking up quite a bit. Australia picking up quite a bit. Strangely, Thailand picking up quite a bit. A bunch of people in France just recently started adding, and a whole bunch of people are still using one of those redirects, what do you call them? The ISP redirect things to show that they're in fucking Boulder, Colorado. Like, there's no goddamn way half of the city of Boulder, Colorado is listening to us. Like, unless we're just the coolest people in Colorado. They have a statue there of us, I guess.
I don't know. I don't remember proposing, but I might have been drunk.
Everybody just has like one of those mask your IP things that's just showing up that they're in Boulder, Colorado. Like there's like 25,000 fucking listeners in Boulder, Colorado.
Right. I don't know, dude. If they can't find me, I don't know what to tell them, dude. I'm like everywhere.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Catch you later, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. This has been fun.